Hi guys, today I wanted to show you how to do a split design that has the two heavy lines going across here along this name, and this H is going to be split into two halves. You see what I mean? Actually, I did a little prep work. I brought in an applique H, and then I merged my letters for the name Hannah. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to move the name out of the way because I don't need it for now. So I'm clicking Control and the number 4, which is my word here. I'll move it to the side just to kind of get it out of my way so that I can see things better. So then you just click anywhere on the page. Okay, so I want to cut through, split this H into two, and I want the lower legs here to be sort of detached from the upper half. So what I'm going to do is click on the scissors icon to open the cutting toolbar. Select point should be the default here, should be selected, and I want it, I'll just follow this line here. So I'm just clicking on the points, and that is going to be my cut line, and then I just have to close sort of a polygon here. And I get to the last here. SWP Pro automatically connects this last dot with the first one, so you don't have to close the polygon. It just cuts right across for you. I'm going to click on Cut Pattern and Cut and Save All. So my H moved somewhere. Sometimes that happens. Let me see if I can go retrieve it. Oh, nowhere to be found. Oh, there you are. So I'll move. Let me close this. So sometimes whenever you're cutting, I can't figure it out, but your design will jump on you. So I brought it all back. And so it's all back there, but you're going to see, I'm going to show you, it's actually in two separate pieces right now. So when I highlight the last three, which is the positioning stitch, the tack down, and the satin stitch, it only highlights the bottom half because, again, I cut that H in half. So I'm just going to move this to the bottom out of the way, and I'll try to go as straight as I can so that is in alignment here. That's okay. I'm going to hit Control. I'm going to hit Control and the number 4 so that I can move the name up to where I want it to go. So about right there, and I'm just looking to see where that was split. Okay, so now it's starting to look like what I intended, but I still need two heavy lines going at the bottom and the top of this name. Now remember, the H is an applique, so by this time, whenever you're doing the satin stitch for the lines, you will have had fabric that is trimmed and the satin stitches on the edge are finished. You want that to be finished. You have to be careful when you cut the fabric across these open spaces. I'm sure there's a way to do maybe a very thin stitching across here. I normally don't do that. I can just cut across. There's going to be a satin stitch that is going to close this up anyway, so I'm not too worried. My letters, as you can see, are just about 1 inch, and so what I'm going to do is use the borders feature of SWP Pro. So I'm going to click this B, and then it opens up the Add a Border menu. So you can pick from a number of different shapes. You can do all sorts of fun things. All I need is a rectangle, and I'm going to chop off the ends of the rectangle. So I'm going to pick the square, the satin outline. It also does appliques for you. The satin thickness, I'm going to make 30, which means 3 millimeters, which is, just very tiny. I mean, each one point here is 1/10 of a millimeter. Stride, I believe, measures how tight or how close your curves are going to be, or the density along your curves. I normally bump it down to 2. I feel like you get a little better definition that way. The width, which is going to be the width across my page here. This is my 5x7 hoop. Needs to be at least 5 inches, as you can see. I'm just going to make it, I don't know, 6 inches. We're going to cut it anyway. The height, my letters are 1. I'm going to try to make it 1.3, and we can always change this in just a bit. So click on OK, and now you have a border. that you can move into place. And let's just see how this fits. So this looks okay, but it still seems too tight for my age, so I need to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go to the resize menu right up here. The height is almost 1.3. Let's try to make it 1.4. I have auto density selected, and the aspect ratio. Actually, I don't need aspect ratio. I want my width to be still my 6 inches and the height to be 1.4. And let's see what happens. But stitch density will auto adjust when I change the dimensions of this rectangle. So click on OK. Now it's a little bit bigger. I think I don't like to give myself to cut it so close. So Control and click on that number 8 again. I'm going to do this again. Just bump it up to 1.5 and that should be fine. Okay, so that's okay. So now you can see, I can zoom in and I'll show you the legs of my age seem to be popping through that satin. So I want to lower the bottom of my age a little bit. I'm going to hit Control and highlight the bottom part of my age. And you can see how it's right on top of that line. I want it to be a little bit down, but just a little bit. So I'm going to move it with the arrow buttons to about right there. You do want some overlap because again, you want that the satin stitch of your line to grab or to bite the fabric that you put on the applique. So let's see how the top is looking. So if I hit there, it's also kind of too close for comfort. So moving this up just a tad to kind of, yeah, you want it overlapping, but not by a lot. Okay, so this is almost there. The last thing that I have to do is we're going to chop off, as I said, the ends of this rectangle. So I'm going to highlight the number 8, which is that box. Go again to the Open Cutting Toolbar menu, Select Points is selected, and now I am going to click almost to the edge of my hoop because my name is so long in relation to the hoop. Click on that, and then at the top. And when you have the color selected, even though, remember, it's going to connect the last one to the first one, you will not cut the remainder stitches. It would only chop off the boxes. Click on Cut Pattern, and I have found that sometimes if I do the Remove Interior, Remove Exterior, things go kind of wonky on me. So I've tended to do Cut and Save All. So I cut and save all, and now I have 2 black lines. Let me close this so that I can get out of the menu. So I have 2 black ones. I'm going to have to delete one of those. So again, Control, that's the one that is the good one. So click on that again, and I want to delete that. So if you right click on that number 8 and click on Delete Thread, all of a sudden you have a design that is split with the bars across and name in the middle. And the last thing that I would do for this particular design, probably do a little bit of playing with joining threads and things like that. But I would move the name down. I normally want my applique first, the name, and then the bar. You definitely want the bar to be the last thing that stitches, so it grabs your satin. And again, this is stitching in 2 halves, so it'll stitch the top half and the bottom half. I would play with this for a final design, move things around and combine some of these. But basically, you get the idea. I have another video where I show you how to move the thread order and join threads and things like that to make your design a little cleaner when you're stitching. But there you go. It's a split design. Happy embroidering!